Welcome to our free YouTube Creator Training Library brought to you by the Senior Tuber community.
Welcome to the Creator Training. I'm Fran Asaro, and tonight's topic is how to create and upload your video. We are going to make this a talking head night instead of demonstration, but if there's ever anything that we need to elaborate on, please let me know and we'll go into it on another video in more detail. So let me just tell you that I wanted to create tonight to be part of the optimization. We've been optimizing the channel, so now we want to optimize our videos. But the more I started creating that, I was finding that, some people don't even have a Google account or a YouTube account. I didn't start that far back, but I thought, let me start at least with how to create and then upload your video. So I'm going to be speaking right from the form, the handout that you have here. And for those of you who don't have a handout, if you want to be a part of our Senior Tuber Circle, it's a 12 hours a month of training, including these live events. Then you'll get handouts and you'll have a lot of more support if you're interested in becoming a YouTube creator. Okay, so right now we're going to talk about creating a video before you hit record. And we're going to talk about devices first. There are so many devices that you could be recording on. And a lot of people ask that. How do you do the recording? How do you do the editing? And really what you're going to do is you're going to find out what feels right for you. There are several things. You could use your computer with a webcam. You could use your phone. These phones these days have better cameras than you could probably buy sometimes for that price. And you could use a regular camera. And if you want to, you could use your camera and your phone and record the same session in two different views so that when you're putting the video together, if you want to edit it, you can be using that as well. Also, you could use your YouTube app on your phone. It's another place that some people swear by it. You can make both landscape and portrait size videos. Let me just show you what that looks like for people who don't know the difference. This is like a long form video will be landscape or horizontal. And then if you're making shorts, they would be this way, and you could go in there, you hit the button, you record. There's editing features, there are filters, there's many things that you can add to that to enhance your video. And people find it much quicker. Maybe people in the mature audience, they want to just do what they know best, and that's a webcam. So that's really up to you. But you do have that option. You also have the option to use YouTube Live. You can go on a YouTube Live with or without an audience and then record it. And you could use Zoom. And if you use Zoom, I have many people who only Zoom in when they're by themselves. And that's where all the videos stem from. Totally up to you. There's also the difference in what you can do. Like on your shorts are under 1 minute. And I'm going to say under a minute because if you have it at 1 minute, there's a chance it won't become a short. It'll still be considered a long form video. And then what happens is it's going to show up like this with this size. And then the video itself is only going to be a portrait. And it's going to look a little weird. So you want to make a portrait that looks like the portrait, and you want to be able to long film to be a completely full screen. Also, when you first start your YouTube channel, you have 15 minutes maximum that you can create a video. And you say, well, how come other people are putting theirs on for 12 hours? All you have to do to get a video to go from 15 minutes to 12 hours is you have to go and verify your phone number. And you do that in the settings section, which we talked about. And there's a video on that if you need some help, but it's pretty easy. Just go in there and find out how to verify your phone number. So we're going to talk a little bit about sound as well. Sound happens to be one of the most important things you want working in your videos, right? People don't care if you come in your pajamas, but they do care if they can hear you. And especially if you have really good content, but it's getting scratchy or a little weird, that's going to turn people off. So you want to make sure before you even start, you want to block all your background sounds. And what that looks like is you shut off your phone, you lock yourself in your room, tell people that you're recording, put up a sign if you have to. But you also could block the notifications that you have on your browser windows. All you have to do is go to each menu tab, right click on it, and there's a mute button. And this way, you won't hear when your emails come in. You won't hear when your Facebook posts come in. I'm asking you to test yourself because a lot of us don't know a lot about tech, but we can practice. And if you ever watch like a movie set or something like that, or a rock band recording, there's always a sound check. I'm not asking you to know how to do that. I'm just asking you to practice so you know how your sound is. So if you do it like a 30-second or a 1 minute sound check where you speak for a little bit, la, 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 whatever you want to say, and then go back and replay it. You want to listen to it on a good set of speakers, whether it's your headphones or a good speaker in the house. You want to try it out from your phone, from your computer and your TV. You don't have to do this every time. Once you know, basically, you just might want to do a sound check for the moment. That I do before I create videos is because I just want to make sure everything's working. And there have been times that my microphone is unplugged. There have been times that I didn't have anything working. It was set up for the wrong microphone. So yeah, you could do a 30-second check on for the most part. But when you're first learning, I would say do a major sound check. So another thing with your sound is you want to make sure that you don't go into the red when they're showing you that scale of where your sound is. Like it might be right in the beginning or really bright in the middle with green, and then all of a sudden they'll be red. Don't go in the red because that might make you sound distorted to people. All right, now we're going to talk about cameras. On the camera, phone is your camera, a webcam is your camera, a regular video camera is your camera, and you could take those 2 shots, like I said. But what do you want your camera to do? So do you want to use filters? Some of them make you look different, better, give you long eyelashes. You know, those are the things. What do you want your camera to do? And choose the right device that could do that. Now, for me, I have things on my wall that have writing on it. So I have a mirror image on my camera. It's set up so that you don't see everything backwards on my wall. But this is my right hand, and this is not the way my room is set up, right? So I just have to switch it over. So make sure you have your camera set up the way you want it. Also, you want to decide how you want to sit in your camera. Do I want to be in the middle? Do I want to be centered from the top to the bottom? Do I want to sit high enough in my chair? I can't tell you how many people that I work with that I have to keep telling them to keep their chin up. And I don't mean like this. I mean, they're working from a laptop and they're sitting in a low chair and they're down like this while they're talking. And I have to keep telling them that's not the way to come across to your audience. And sometimes it takes them a while to learn because they're so used to doing it. And then we're going to talk about background. Choose which way you want your background to look, or mirrored or not mirrored. But also you can choose whether you want it to be blurry. Some people like a blurry background. Some people want a green screen. And let me just tell you, a green screen is when you have a green cloth or something behind you, and then you could project something on there, whether it's a video or a scene that you want to be in the back of you. But now we have so many virtual backgrounds that most people don't even use a green screen, but you can use a virtual background and you could just use your original background. A couple of years ago, I was on a Zoom call with somebody else and she had this beautiful scene. I said, "Is that a real scene that's behind you?" She said, "Yes." I said, "That's beautiful." And she says it was staged. And that word hit me like a ton of bricks because coming from a real estate background, I knew what staging does and how important it was. So what do you want your background to look like? Do you have a TV screen on behind you that's playing something that you don't want to be showing? See, sometimes we're just so focused on us. We don't realize the news is on. And you also want to know, is there a window behind you? And are you going to see what's going on behind you there? And do your pets like lay across everything, which for me would be lovely to see, but distracting, okay? So if I see the pets playing, you know I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to be watching them. So you want to be careful and cautious about your background. Now, presenting yourself. You want to create a few versions of your video. You're getting an identity and you're staying authentic. So there's this fine tuning of that. What settings do you want on your computer when you're doing it? How do you want to present yourself physically? So your body position, your usage of your hands. Do you want to come across relaxed? I like to come across excited. That's my thing. I like to be excited and enthusiastic. Now, you're not going to have to sing the opera. You don't have to project like that. But you know how they say the camera adds about 20 pounds to you or 10 pounds when you're filming? Well, the camera reduces about 10% of your enthusiasm. So you might have to put a little extra oomph into it just so it comes across. This is the way you just sound naturally. So now we're going to talk about planning and creating your content. So know your audience. Now, I know most of you know your audience, but not always. Like I talk fast. My audience wants me to talk a little slower. I haven't gotten it down pat yet, but I will. And are your people beginners? Do you need to start very basic or can you start from any level because they get you? You want to address your audience with who they are. So I work with mature creators mostly, but not exclusively. So most of the time we're referring to some things from the past that we all relate to. We might bring up certain news or stories or TV shows. If you work with travelers, you may want to talk about traveling, whether it's a plane or RVs. And then you want to give them some sort of identity with you. So I call my people creators. And then you might want to call your people a name. And You may not have one now. It's okay. It doesn't have to stop you from making the video, but it's something you can consider, because when people feel like they have an identity with you, they feel more sense of community and less like a number. Now, think of a topic, because we're going to talk a little bit about batch recording in a little bit, but think of a topic and write it down. So I want to give you an example of what happened just with this topic of creating and uploading your video. It started out as the topic was going to be how to optimize your video. And as I started writing about it, I realized that, you know what? They need more than that before that. Some of them don't know what it's like to create and upload. So it just kept changing and morphing into something different. You want to practice it and you want to be there in the most authentic way you can, with a level that they probably need to hear you. Best way you can plan your content is to answer a question. Now, we talked a little bit about this before, and we'll probably talk about it a lot more in the future in a lot more videos, but asking or answering a question is one of the best things you could do, because it's easy to search what your audience is looking for and provide it for them. So that's really big. So I think that's probably what happened to me for this particular video. Is I think my people need to know this before they know that, because I know there are a lot of brand new people and a lot of new creators I want to provide this for. And so you want to make it about what they're looking for. Like if you want to have a news channel version or an entertainment version or an educational version, my commitment is to be educational with a little bit of entertainment. So I call myself an infotainer. So size and length. When you start doing your content, decide what you're going to be putting it on. Are you going to make shorts, a series of shorts, or are you going to make a long form video? Prepare beforehand so that you're not, this is like a little map. You might make a little spreadsheet of what the video is going to include. And so if you say, okay, today I'm going to do my shorts, I'm going to do 6 shorts. I'm going to put it all in one playlist, and it's going to be all about 10 steps too, right? And once you do that, how long do you want it to be? Do you want it to be 5 minutes? If it's going to be a short, it's going to be under a minute. And if you don't know what to say, but you know what you want to say, there's always ChatGPT to go in there and say, I want to make a video under a minute long, and I want to talk about 6 steps to helping a mature person create their YouTube channel, and tell them how long, like I said. And then ChatGPT will give you a layout. And then all of a sudden you can say it. You can just read or narrate from there, and then you've got a video. And there are a lot of AI programs that'll do this for you and add in the images, and you have a video without ever doing anything else. Now, remember that the shorts that you do are going to attract, probably in the beginning, more subscribers and more views. People love to scroll like some of the other platforms. So that's a really good way to get people to subscribe and to get views. And long form videos take a little bit more strategizing. You have a podcast or you want to teach something, it's a longer form video. It could be anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour or 2 hours. But you want to, if you're ready for that, that's fine. But we're going to talk about how to strategize that video so that you know how to keep people on there for the entire time that you're making these videos. Because if you make a 2-hour video and they're dropping off in the first minute, and you could have done a few things to keep that from happening, that's going to be an important conversation that we have, so you can make sure you maximize the time that they stay on, because you get, I always call brownie points. You get YouTube brownie points for keeping people on. It's called watch time hours. Now we're going to talk about what I was saying about batch recording. What, why, and how. So what batch recording is very similar to batch cooking. So they don't have to do it all week long, especially if you're busy. A couple of reasons why I batch record. One, mostly because if I've got makeup on, I better be here and record. And for guys, if you're all dressed up one day, you've been out all day doing some business stuff, you come home, you're dressed really nice, hey, I look good. You go and you start batch recording that day. So here are a couple of things that I do that might help you. One is I have a chair right next to me. I don't even have to get out of the chair. And I put several articles of clothing there, mostly tops, because that's all people are seeing, right? And then I bring comb or brush or breath mints. Why do I bring breath mints when nobody's here? Because you feel better if you just put something peppermint in your mouth and you feel like fresh as a daisy, and your mouth seems to work better before you get on the batch record. You want to stretch or move your body and just feel alive and get into whatever you're about to do. So you're in the groove, right? And then here's the way to make the secret to doing a batch record. You do not want to stop while you're recording. Now, I have this program I called Kicking the Shorts, where I will work with somebody where in 1 hour, we have like a half an hour to chat, and then a half an hour where we put out 10 shorts. just sitting there going, go, go, go. And most of the time, it's because we don't stop. If you stop and then have to start over, you usually want to start over from the beginning. And if you don't start over from the beginning, it doesn't feel like the same energy in the second video. So what I recommend is when you're batch recording, you stay in the same position, you talk, and if you make a mistake, it would look like this. So if I don't like what I just said, I stop. I kept everything in order. My hands are in order, whatever I have to do, and then I start again. And so that keeps me from having to start over, change the scenery. And it also keeps it easy for whoever's editing it, because you're going to see these little blank spots throughout the video that you know was a pause. And it's easier for you to edit later on. Okay, so now we're going to talk about hitting record. Now, with the record button, it's one of the hardest things to press. If you're new, that record button weighs about 1,000 pounds. And it's a push button too, right? So the idea is to go out and practice. And that's one of the things that I've been telling my people for years, like 10 years since I did my first YouTube, but it was about how to market yourself. And it was about putting yourself on a video. And there was so much resistance. And I have people who now tell me that they've been recording ever since this exercise. So hopefully you'll do it if you think you don't want to be on a video. You don't have to be perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting the recordings done and getting used to yourself and falling in love with yourself, I say. Because everybody who sees you now, they already know how you are. They know that I tilt my head. They know that I use my hands. They know how I sound like I'm from New York. But you have to fall in love with you, right? You have to fall in love with that because you don't want to be anything else. If I sat on my hands right now, I would be uncomfortable. For me, I would look silly, right? You might think I look silly moving my hands. I feel silly not moving my hands. I'm asking you to make 1 to 5 videos per day. Yes, per day, 1 minute or less. And you get to know yourself. So I've done this before. You go and you take your camera and you say, first video is probably going to be something like this. Fran says to make this 1 minute video. All right, I'm done. Okay, that's probably what it's going to look like, right? Second video. Okay, here I am. I'm going to talk for a minute. I have no clue what I want to say. I don't like the way I looked in the last video, so I don't even know what to do to fix it. And then you don't even have to stop it if you don't want to. You could keep doing it over and over again. Okay, so if I've got to do this every day, I might as well talk about something I plan to talk about in my YouTube video. So hopefully at the end of the week, you can go, hey, I don't look so bad. Hey, I sound pretty good. I kind of like the way I feel. I'm fun. This is the way I would like to come across to people. You'll get used to that. So that's what I'm asking you to do. I hope you're willing to try it. Are you? Let me know in the comments so you can tell me what you've done, how it felt, and what you decided after that, right? Because if you think you weren't going to do it and you are doing it now, I'd love for you to be the inspiration for other people. But the thing is, you want to learn what you want to change and what you don't want to change and what you should not change. Do not change your authentic self. It is really important that you stay with who you really are, or you're going to be lying to the world and you're going to be uncomfortable and you're going to hate it. So I would have liked to be a very professional mentor and trainer. But if I had to do this perfectly and not make mistakes or edit out all my mistakes, I would hate it. I want you to know that I fail a lot. I screw up with things and I say sometimes, or maybe more than sometimes. But it's what I'm willing to do to get my message out there, is to be me and let you know you're free to be you too. All right, so now we're going to talk about editing. First rule is you don't have to edit. All right, you don't have to edit. However, editing is a part of making a better video. If you want to start out with just some 1 minute videos and you don't edit, there are times I just look at my video after doing all those practice videos. Sometimes I look, I go, hey, that's not bad. I'm not going to edit it at all, right? That could be you. So you could edit it as part of a better video, but you can do nothing. Now, I'm going to put down some editing software that I use. I use ScreenPal, I use Filmora. And you could do it, or you can pay somebody to do it. You can go to Fiverr.com and find somebody who will edit it for a really affordable price. This year, haven't used it yet, but I went to Udemy, an academy, and you could find training classes free to $5 and $10. I think mine cost me $10 to learn how to use Filmora. No, I haven't used it yet, but I will, right? So you might want to get something that can help you too. If you're somebody who is really good about that, then congratulations. Okay, so before you upload your video, we want to talk about enhancements, because once you upload your video to YouTube, guess what? That's it. Here are your options once you upload it to YouTube. You can trim a little piece of the video in the middle. You can trim at the ends a little, but that's about the editing capacity. And you could add music, right? And there may be other things that are coming soon, but they're not there now. So if you want to add music through your own recordings or after it's uploaded, that's up to you. YouTube has a complete music library that you could use. And they even have popular music for you. The only difference with that is that the monetization amount is going to be different because they're paying the artist more than they're going to pay you for it. But you could use popular music. And so you want to have your music in alignment before you upload it, unless you're planned on using whatever YouTube has. And you don't have to upload it and then find out. You can actually search YouTube's music and then you can decide what you will do. So I look up things that are really soft or tender or whatever it is, then I will use that. Try to think here, but you want to make sure that you have permission. So with permission, that means an attribution is to thank you for somebody doing something. They have donated sounds, which you can also upload sounds, or they have donated music. And some of them even donate or contribute images. And you just have to give them an attribution, which is where you acknowledge them. We're going to talk about B-roll now. I don't know if everybody knows about B-roll, but what B-roll is something that you put into your video that will, it's usually a video, but it isn't always a video. So B-roll is when usually a video on top of a video, like an overlay. And people get very bored very easily. And so I'm trying to say, how about putting some B-roll in there? So what would you use B-roll for? You use it to emphasize something that you're talking about. You use it to cover up your edits and transitions. And you use it to demonstrate an example of something that you're talking about. You could do it if you're changing position, or if you want to do for sounds, you could use it for that. Topic change. When I'm working on my clients' videos, what I do is sometimes I get caught in the video because when I'm talking, it brings my picture first if it's a speaker view. So I have to put a picture over that or an image over that so that while the person's talking, they're not seeing me. So there's several ways that you can use the B-roll. And it's also changing the pace of the video so that people have something new to look at or listen to. All right, we're going to talk about overlays. Overlays is like a B-roll, but it's not always video. All right, so what it is just maybe if you're saying today we're going to do 10 steps to, that you might put an overlay of the numbers as you're counting down with the item of that. Or if you want to ask questions in between scenes, you can put that in there. You could actually overlay changes in the topic, overlay questions, and you could overlay any kind of thing that you want to emphasize before you talk about it. CTA, for those who have your handout, that is a call to action. Your videos should have a call to action. And when we're optimizing your video, we'll talk about this a little bit more, where you put it and how it's worded, but your call to action should be in the video, at least towards the top of your description. And you want to have something to ask your audience. So if you have a product or a course or something like that, that's your call to action, and you would put that sort of in the beginning of the description. If you don't have something like that, and many people don't, asking somebody to subscribe or giving them a question that you want them to answer, or you ask them a question like, who needs what do you need? Or asking them to subscribe. Those are all call to action. And as long as they're at the top of that, more people will see the top of the description than the rest of the description. Only a few people will look at the rest of the description. So you want to plan your call to action, because one of the things you're going to do here is you're going to create your video after you create your thumbnail and your title. And once you do that, then you're going to create your video, and you'll also want to know your call to action. That's something very important. It's pre-planning. It's going to help you with a video that is going to bring, hopefully, a lot of views for many, many years. All right. Now, another call to action you could use is affiliate marketing. If you represent a company, a sponsor, or an advertiser, you can use it for your merchandise if you want to do it, if you want them to sign up for your newsletter, and if you have, like I said, any digital programs. Before uploading, ensure that you've already done these things, that you put your B-roll in, as I said, your music, your overlay, your audio. Mistakes, you want to take those out, like the ums. I'll probably take out some ums out of this video, but not all. I want to make sure people know that I do It's okay to just not too many. You cannot edit in YouTube, like I said, so you want to do most of it outside of that. All right, so the upload process is make sure you do your last minute editing, and then you will have different ways to upload your video. One is that, like one of my editing software programs, when I upload it to video, bring into YouTube, brings me multiple pages to optimize my video. I don't use that because it takes too long, and it's usually left there for people who want to do a little bit more editing. I hit next, then next, then next, and then I go to what's called the video details page. And the reason why I do that is because I comb, and this is all in one page, everything I want to edit for that. So I start from the top, I work from the title, to the description, to the chapters. I go in an order. When you go to upload a video, they ask you if you want to drag or drop, or do you want to pull a file? Who drags and drops? Who brings in the file? I have multiple monitors. I will open up my file in one monitor and drag it over to the YouTube option to bring it over. If you have an option to have more than one window open at the same time on one monitor, you can also do that. And last but not least, I just want to make sure, is anybody ready to do the 3 to 5 videos per day? I want you to tell me either in the chat or in the comments section, depending on where you're hearing this, 1 minute long videos, 3 to 5 a day, and start getting used to being in your groove.
Thank you for watching our free YouTube Creator Training Library, brought to you by the Senior Tuber community.